Hello crafty cuties and welcome. We are going to create a Bohemian tassel today, and everything that I'm using are items that came in the Bohemian junk trunk kit and the fabric pack. If you just purchased the video courses, I will go over the supplies here. They can totally vary and you can use what you have on hand. And if you are not new to my channel, then you've probably seen I've had a couple tassel tutorials on my channel, so this is not going to be much different from the tassels I've created. However, I still wanted to make this video because I just wanted to show you how I would incorporate a few different bits and pieces, and I'm also going to be actually attaching it to a Bohemian bead. So we're going to go through the supplies here and then we can get started. I'm going to use a variety of trims. I'm definitely going to be using some of this sari silk ribbon here, and then just some other actually fabric scrap trims and maybe laces. I'll pick those out as we go. I have some eyelash trim just to add some little pizzazz, and then I may use my rhinestone trim here. I have a little piece of, it's like a diamond jewels trim here. I have some buttons I may use, a little bell. I do have a little charm ring here. This is 3/4 of an inch. You can use any type of ring. The way that I'm going to be attaching it to the bead, it does not have to be one that opens, so it can honestly be any type of little circle. And if you don't have one of these, you can always use, if you have some wire, you can just create a circle with the wire. You can also just create a little circle with embroidery floss if you'd like. I'll point that out how you could do that as we go along. And then I have my bulb pin. So the only thing I want to mention really quick about the Bohemian bead, I do have a tutorial how to make this in this video course, so you can check that out first if you are wanting to attach your tassel to your bead. But the only thing you want to be sure of is that when you create your bottom loop, do make sure that it will be big enough to hold your whatever you're using as a tassel ring. So mine is empty here, so we can open that up and we'll be able to attach it to this when we are done. And because I am going to be attaching it to this as well, I'm going to make this a shorter tassel because I want this entire thing to fit on the side of a journal and I don't want it to be longer than the journal. So I'll keep that in mind as I am picking out trims here. We're just going to set these all to the side. I kind of don't know what I want to use until I get into it, so I just like to have everything that I may use. I also have a hot glue gun here, which I may or may not use. So like I said, I definitely know I want to take advantage of using the sari silk ribbon here, but I want to incorporate some of the other trims, and these are all just various sizes. Some are thicker, some are thinner. I want these to be pretty thin, so I'm just going to I'll go through and pick the colors I want. If you guys know me, you know that I love doing natural colored tassels, so I'm going to stick to that. This is why I included this color scheme in the pack, just to kind of hold true to what I like. But I'm going to also, of course, include some colors that match the ribbons that I have, or the sari ribbons. So I think we'll start there. There's all kinds of different trims in this pack, so I may even use these. I don't think I'm going to use any of the lace that's in my pack. I may grab for it, we will see. So like I said, I know I want to cut this down because I don't want it to be very long. So I want this to be probably total of, let's see here, I'm just going to use my ruler. No more than 7.5 inches probably, because I think my journal will probably be like maybe 8.5 inches tall. So we'll go probably right about there, and I'll tell you what size this ends up being. I'll have some links below so I can let you know where I got my rings and a good place to get your sari silk ribbon in case, again, you are watching this and just purchased the video kit, or the video course, sorry. So I'm gonna cut my pieces down to about 8 inches. And so I'm gonna go through and just trim everything down. I'm gonna cut some of this down to be a little bit skinnier. And Some of the pieces of this fabric scrap that are in the fabric pack here, or the trim pack, is actually, it might be shorter. That, like I said, there's various sizes, so I want to cut this down to be pretty thin. So I usually use laces in my tassels, but I just wanted to switch it up a bit. I like how these look, how they're frayed on the ends. So I'm gonna basically go through and pick all my pieces off camera, and then we'll get back into it. So you can see the variety that I chose. Everything is cut down. It's probably closer to 7 inches long. And I am going to use the binder ring here that I have, but like I mentioned, if you just wanted to use some wire, literally just create a circle. If you don't have that, you can use embroidery floss, and I just tied a little loop here. And you will use these circles the same exact way that I'm going to use the binder clip. I am going to utilize this since I have it. It's nice and sturdy, and I'm just used to using this. Now, the only thing that I'm going to do different here is I'm not going to worry about this opening up, because I do want it to permanently attach to my boho bead. So I'm going to kind of attach my pieces at an angle here so that we can cover up the openings here. Okay, I hope that made sense. I am just going to start out by looping these through, and no rhyme or reason really, even though I put that one back. I like to start with kind of a base color or something that I don't really care about not showing, because it is going to get covered up. So I'm just going to loop these through and just go until I am happy with how thick it is. Going to kind of alternate textures and colors and things like that. I guess I will go ahead and cover up that little piece down there. So this is where the opening is, right where my thumb is. And I was thinking about covering it up that way, but then we have this piece showing, so I'm not sure. I'm not worried about it opening up, so you know what? I think it looks better like that. Okay, so see, sometimes I'm not prepared, guys. I'm just going with the flow, because that's how I craft. And if you're familiar with my tassels, I do normally use hot glue, and I put a little dot of hot glue in between each layer just to secure everything, but I wanted to create this one so simple. I have my hot glue here, but I'm going to go ahead and not use it. I've never had an issue with things getting pulled, you know, coming out or anything like that, but you can very well use hot glue if you would like. I am saving some of my sari ribbon pieces for the tops, as I do want those to show a little bit more obvious because of the gorgeous beadwork that is on there. And you can see how many different textures and things you can have even using just one color scheme here. Okay, I'm even going to add a couple pieces of embroidery floss in case I decide I want to thread any beads on, or maybe some buttons just for some interest. Always for interest, you know? Okay, I'm even gonna add a pink in here, just kind of toss it up a little bit. You can always trim this when you're done, so if you're thinking, oh, this is longer than I wanted, no biggie. You can trim it up when you're all done here. And you can see I'm just kind of holding these in place as we go. Just kind of fuss around here, make it just how I want it. Okay, so now I'm gonna add some eyelash trim. So I want to put that kind of on this side. As I like to just kind of grab and go and not think about it too much, I do kind of want to have an idea of where I'm placing things, just so I know what might be peeking through. Okay, so now I'm going to get into using up some of these beautiful sari ribbons. That's kind of, I want that to be the star of the show, this piece especially. And the cool thing about these ribbons, I think, is they're all different. So everyone that got a kit, you all got something different. You got some different colors, different textures. So everyone's is going to look different. Okay, now I'm going to use some rhinestones here. I love these for tassels because it just makes it so simple to add some sequins. Okay. I do know I want to add maybe some beads, or I think I do, so I'm going to add some of that embroidery floss kind of on top here. That piece is falling through, so we'll add one more. And the way that we are going to secure this is with embroidery floss. Again, if you don't feel comfortable just doing it this way, definitely use some hot glue in between your layers. I am happy with this, so now I didn't even use all of these pieces. There's a ton left over here. I'm going to take my embroidery floss and I am going to basically take this and I'm going to tie it around pretty close to the top. And I'm going to start out by tying a knot. I'm going to have to put this down for a moment, just like that. This is where you need 3 hands, basically. Zoom you in, but all I'm doing is just going to tie like a triple knot here. And again, I like this to be kind of tight here. Okay. I want to be able to find this end when I'm done wrapping the embroidery floss around, so I'm going to hold that up like so. I'm going to take my embroidery floss and I'm going to wrap it around a few times. You can go as thick or thin as you want here. You could use a metallic string so that it can be really pretty. I used to love doing that. But now I'm going to take the end that I held up and the end of my floss here, and I'm going to tie those two together. And I'm going to make sure to do that really tight. And so I'll tie again, and then you can go ahead and trim this. And I'm going to actually trim this to be longer so that, again, if I want to use it for beads or something, I can. So there we go. That's what we're working with right now. Now I'm just deciding if I do want to actually add this diamond wrap around, and I think I do, but I don't want it to be as thick. So some of the pieces that had come in the kits would have been 1 layer diamonds, some of them were 2, some of them were 3. So you can just work with what you have and decide what you like. I think I'm going to go for a double layer. I am going to use some hot glue to attach this, and I'm going to start by gluing it in the back here. So just add a little dot here. Put that on pretty quick. Try not to burn ourselves. And because I want to make sure that this stays, I am going to use a little bit of hot glue, just a little teeny piece, just kind of all the way around, I think, just to make sure that this is not going to come off at all. Yeah, I really like that. I feel like it kind of gives it a more finished look. And then I can cut it off so that it meets almost perfectly in the back. And again, use some more hot glue. There we go. Now feel free to add any beads that you want or any bells. I actually really like adding buttons as well. I'm just actually going to add a little bell just because that went on easy. I'm going to tie that on, but feel free to add as many beads and little bits and pieces as you want. I think that looks gorgeous on tassels. Okay, so I did get a little button on there, and I have a little bell. You can kind of arrange this now, kind of work it how you'd like it to look, pull pieces through. You do have a little bit of kind of wiggle room with that. And I will be honest, guys, I absolutely love seeing Bohemian tassels using sari silk ribbon that are super long. But again, because we're gonna add the bead, I think that this is going to be perfect, and I love how they look together. So now we will go ahead and take our bead, and I'm going to take that loop at the bottom and just open it up and attach it around here. Now I could just open our tassel ring, of course, but I want to make sure that this is on here pretty tight. I just made sure to pinch that on there really nice and tight. Then I'm going to take a bulb pen that looks like this. I get mine from Amazon, and I'm going to go ahead and put it through the top. I just like using the bulb pens because it's going to make it so easy to attach it to a journal. We're not going to need, you know, a journal ring on the journal or a ring fastener. And this is just a nice way to attach it to a fabric journal, which is what I'm going to be creating. So there we go, guys. There you have it. We have our Bohemian bead with the tassel down here. Let's see. This may have ended up being a little longer than I was thinking, but we'll see. No, it's about 7 inches from the top of the bead down to the bottom. And from the top here, it's about just right under 8. So that's perfect for what I was wanting. And you can go through and trim these down if you want, you know, depending on how you like it to look. And there we go, guys. Super simple. So I hope that you have fun using your trims. There are just so many different textures and colors to work with, so I can't wait to see what you guys create with yours. They're also really great for the edges of your journal pages. You can use the bigger fabric scraps to create pockets and tuck spots, and you can sew them together to create kind of a patchwork type pocket. So many things. So can't wait to see what you guys create. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.